Hello everybody, welcome. Hello Norman specifically for saying hello. I see we've got a couple of viewers and thank you for joining me. I was unable to do a stream for the second time yesterday, so it all worked out actually very well because it gave me some time to think about what educational stream we can maybe look at. And then I recalled a couple of guys complaining about the Zibo not descending when it reaches top of descent. And that in itself brought me back to something that I and Mario tried to figure out last night. And it's brought me now to Porto, which is a prime example of it. So if you look in the description below the video, you'll see I start rather weirdly saying we've all heard the story of garbage in equals garbage out. And this, I think, is a prime example. So I'm hoping to add some value to your lives today to give you some insight, and obviously you guys need to talk with me as well. This is an open platform, open discussion, but I'm going to dispense some wisdom, and I hope you guys find value in it and that it will help you in your future endeavors. I also had a quick talk with one of the team members, and he's given me some little nugget there, but I'll just work it in to what I'm going to tell you right now, so somewhere. And I want to address this whole story about entering the correct value or values into the FMC to get the appropriate calculations and responses and things like that. So what you guys are currently seeing on the screen is a picture. This is not the actual Zibo, that's behind the picture. But this is the topic of discussion. So before we dive in there, let me quickly run through all the guys here. Liam, welcome. Yorkie, welcome, my friend. I hope you guys can enjoy the stream with me. All right, so I'm not only, well, let's start this way. I'm the moderator of the Zibo community group, right? It's owned by someone else. It's the other person is also the administrator of the group, but I like reading some of the stuff. So in the last couple of days, the main complaint of this video is the Zibo doesn't descend the top of descent. So I started thinking, what could it be? What could it be? What could it be? You know, and people get offended when I say you misconfigured it. And I get it. It's not nice to hear that you made a mistake. But guys, I'm not trying to be nasty when I say that. It's just a fact. You know, and one of the first things that struck me this morning while I was thinking of this is the Zibo doesn't know what to do and when to do it, and I need to show you guys what to do. So your first clue to a problem is going to be unable cruise altitude. Even some of the big names in the group have mentioned just cancel it, ignore it. But that in itself is going to create another problem. Now I've got a post that I've prepared for the group that I'm going to release after the flight. You know, so that there is some paper trail as well. But basically, when you ignore any error message, you're setting yourself up for failure or user intervention at a later stage. The Zibo does not currently support pre-planned failures. There are certain failures that X-Plane 11 can induce into the Zibo, but where the Zibo is catching the guys at this point in time, and where failures come from when you look at the Zibo, is there are certain checks and balances built into the aircraft where one thing down the line is going to depend on something that you did earlier, and if you didn't do the earlier thing properly, it's going to bomb later on. It's just going to crash break. It's going to create a problem. And for me, this became real last night while me and Mario were trying to figure this one out. And in short, when you are unable to reach a cruise altitude, there could be one of two things wrong. Either the loading is wrong, or the flight is just too short, and maybe if there's a third thing, there's a limit some or other airway altitude limit that you are not aware of. So in short, there's 3 issues. Now, when we fly between Porto and Lisbon in the real world, the flight level is 230 usually. You can go double check me on Flight Radar 24. It's true. It's flight level 230. We're flying south, so it's an odd value, and we now have to make a plan. If you look at the picture here, you can clearly see that with the current loading, the Zibo is capable of doing flight level 260 at least. We will ignore the number 3 there. Hi Lee, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you here. Good you can make it. So the Zibo is quite capable of going up to 263. I want to fly at 230, but I get the error unable cruise altitude. So one of the 3 things is now interfering. The route is too short, the loading is incorrect, which we know it's not because we can go 260 at least, and etc. Yeah, I understand what I'm trying to say to you. So there's obviously something else. If you don't fix this problem right here, and if you ignore it, the following is going to happen. And this is basically what I'm going to demo to you guys. This is the next picture that I took in the flight from last night. At this point over here, I just want to see if you guys can see the mouse. This is at flight level 230. We're on standard. Everything is perfect. This aircraft is now, according to us, it's in the straight and level cruise phase. But according to the computer, that little marker over there tells us that it's not satisfied. It still believes that it needs to climb. It has not reached the top of the climb. But we know that we forced flight level 230 into position, and we executed and we cleared the error, and we are thinking, it's going to work. But clearly it doesn't. Alright. So I'm going to read just from left to right quickly, and I'm going to show you the next thing is on our navigational display. You can clearly see that the vertical profile is 9,999 feet below what this aircraft believes it should be at. Alright, so clearly there's a misconfiguration. Clearly this is not going to work for us. Alright, one of the other symptoms which is not depicted here is you will always find that your top of climb is going to shift forward, shift forward, shift forward, shift forward, and you're never going to reach it. Even if you see a little top of descent, that too is going to move. It's going to move. You're always going to chase it. Alright? So no matter how much wishful thinking you have, this aircraft is simply never going to hit a top of descent and do an automatic descent while you are in the VNAV mode. It simply won't, because the information needed to calculate the top of descent or the top of climb or whatever else comes and follows after that is incorrectly inputted. Alright, so it's entered incorrectly. Even if you force 230, the Zibo will reject it. Now if you look here, we're on the same page there. It's physically rejected flight level 230. Alright, so we're sitting with a problem. This aircraft is now forcing user intervention. It's forcing you to use some other knowledge and some other devices to get you down, to get you to land. Alright, and it's simply because this was wrong from the beginning. Alright, because there is no altitude, there can be no top of climb, and there can be no top of descent. Alright. Just want to quickly clear that out of the screen there, and then now we're sitting in the aircraft. I want to just quickly change the capturing method, otherwise you're going to see some screen tearing again. Alright, so guys, this is the plan. I hope this meets with your expectations, what we're going to discuss here, and please feel free to interject, throw your comments in there, talk with me. I obviously count on that as well to keep the conversation going. So I've already entered our fuel weight and balances, and I've already done a couple of things. We know that this is according to our OFB 65.8 is going to be our takeoff weights. It's very important that we have the correct weight always in our tablet and that it corresponds to whatever we have in our FMC. So great stuff, John. Thank you so much. Alright, so without further ado, let's quickly do some planning here. LPPR. Guys, if I'm going too fast, please stop me as well. Don't be shy on this channel. Apart from being rude, I like feedback. So you guys are welcome to talk with me. Alright, so we've got our position in there. LPPR, LPPT, LPPR, LPPT01, runway 35. Activate. Right, while we're on the subject, I also want to quickly show you something that I find a lot of guys just simply ignore. They just don't do it, and then they also get other errors. So we're going to do ILS runway 3, Zama 8, execute. Have a look at this page. Liam, the cost index is a fancy way of telling the engines how fast it must run. So if you want to fly a little bit faster, burn a little bit more fuel to catch up time, you will lift the cost index. If you want to fly a little bit slower and save some fuel, you will use a lower cost index. For instance, Mango Airlines that I used to work for, we ran at a cost index of 20, and Ryanair uses a cost index of 6. Alright, so that changes, you know, as per company requirements, but there are many lists available on the internet that will give you a reasonable idea of where we're at. When I fly for British Airways, I tend to use 1 because of the conformance and the strict rules of conforming to the time schedule. I don't use more than 1. Once you go up to 30, 40, 50 and 100, you're also going to create VNAV problems in the Zibo. Alright, it's not going to stick to the VNAV path because it's going to be too fast. You know, and it's not going to turn in the right place because it's just too fast. You know, I mean, get in your car, drive 100 miles an hour and try and turn around. Your turning circle is going to be much more than if you were driving 30 miles an hour. You know, same thing goes for the aircraft, but you know, that's something that you just have to learn. Okay, so keep your eyes on the screen, guys. I want to show you PESX. Have a look. As we move down, you will see we have PESX over there. And if you go to the next screen, we've got PESX over there as well. So clearly there is a double. So what's going to happen, we actually look at the plan. Why am I looking up? There we go. Right, so if we start stepping through the plan and we get to that PESX intersection, I'll zoom in a little bit. I don't know why people never pick up on this thing, and or whether they just haven't been trained or something. So I'm glad I can just share this with you quickly because I noticed it. So what we have is, if we read down from a PT422, the next waypoint is supposed to be CF03, but there's a PESX in there. Now if you look at the way it runs, it means it's going to go from PT422 to PESX, then turn around, come to CF03, and then go to PESX again, if we follow the legs section. So we seriously need to get rid of that PESX and not create a physical turn. I've seen this error quite a few times all over Facebook where guys complain, oh, the Zibo on short finals, it decided to turn left sharply and I don't know what happened. This is your answer. You didn't check the legs page, as easy as that. And again, I'm not saying it to offend anybody, it's just the truth. It's a fact. It's an undeniable, undisputable fact. That guys don't look at. So I'm glad I picked it up here and that I can show you guys. You have to be really careful of things like this. The same goes for holds. Some of the approaches actually have holds in them, and you guys really need to pay attention to this. Ah, Liam, you see. Look, we all start somewhere. Nobody just arrives and says, hey, I'm a Boeing pilot, I'm gonna do this. You see, Neil, that's also true, but a lot of guys don't pay attention to the detail. Alright, so we all start somewhere and we all grow in our knowledge, and this is also part of why I exist, to help everybody just pick up on little things like this. Norman, because I import my flight plans, what happens is PFPX or SimBrief will give a certain export value. In that file there's a certain string. It gives you a whole bunch of waypoints. Alright, then what we do as pilots, we sit here and we then add the SID and the star. Unfortunately, sometimes there's an overlap. Alright, and if you do the whole flight plan manually, you shouldn't have that. But when you do an import, you are prone to picking up stuff like this, and you just have to pick it up and fix it. Neil, yes, you are supposed to cross-reference with the charts, but not everybody owns a Navigraph subscription. So that's why the easiest way of doing it is to just come to your map page on your ND, run through the steps. If you click here on the steps like I do, you can clearly see where you're at and just confirm. A lot of guys, unfortunately, also are over eager. They are so eager, they just want to get in, get going, and then they don't spend the 2 minutes that's necessary to really just quickly scan through and find things like this. So that is another problem. Right, okay, so this takes care of it. I'm not too fussed about the restrictions. I happen to know that the restrictions here are 4,000 in that descent over there to get into the approach. So that's good enough for me, but you are 100% correct. One should really look at the charts. I didn't even open my charts. Let me actually spend a moment and just get my Navigraph running here anyway. Norman, no, it's got nothing to do with explain or the Zibo. This is an interaction between an export and import facility and just basically cleansing the data, really. So as Neil there rightfully said, I just want to show you, this is obviously the chart. You can, if you want to, obviously look at odd leaks, go find it on the chart, and you'll see there's a height restriction of 4,000 feet. So, and that is reflected in the Zibo, and you can then follow that around until you get to PT 420. There you go, that's also 4,000, and odd leaks will be the last one. We don't even have, sorry, I'm talking nonsense. No, that is odd leaks will be the last one. We don't even have that one. We stop a little bit before that. So yeah, you can also do that. Let's close this and move on. Guys, while we're on the subject and John mentions that, remember, both SimBrief, PFPX, and you can mention any other flight planner or performance calculator. They are not all 100%. There is a certain responsibility that each one of us have to actually make sure that what we get is true or usable, and then take it from there on. Hey, Johan. Correct. It's not in. Let me go back. Sorry, before I say something that's not true. Basics. Let's quickly look. Basics is restricted. Well, it's not a hard restriction, but it's also mentioned at 4,000 foot. So if you look at the chart of the actual ILS, that's your final approach point, basically, where the ILS is going to start. So it also requires us to be at 4,000, and if we look at the actual FMC there, it does say 4,000. Yeah, no speed restriction. In this flight, for instance, Neil, while you're talking, hi Angel, welcome. While you and I are talking, I know from experience that if you don't slow down soon enough, and I usually start slowing down in actual fact already from ECMAR over here. Somewhere there you'll see me already start applying my flaps and slowing down, because I know from experience if you're too fast here you're gonna have a problem. So also experience counts a little bit here. Right, okay, just gathering my thoughts quickly and now we can continue. So we've got our gross weight, and I know from the OFP there we've got our 65.8, and if we go back a little way, 2.1 on our fuels, 1.1 on the reserves, and we're going to use cost index 20. Alright, so hold thumbs guys, I hope it will repeat this problem for us as you saw in the previous screenshots, because it's from the same place. So we're going to try 230, and there we go, there we get unable cruise altitude. Right, so what we figured out last night is if we use 150, we don't get the error. So what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to use 150 as my first altitude, and then we'll do a step climb up to 230. I'm just quickly using the OFP given values here just to have something. -1, execute N1 limit. Moment, I'm just checking there for you. I'm looking at the charts now. That CF03 is actually not on any one of the charts, not on ILS or on the star. So it's in there somewhere, but not on the charts. Right, so then we're going to do a normal takeoff. Because this is a rather short flight, which is part of the reason why we're getting the unable cruise altitude. It's really a short flight. I'm just going to use normal takeoff without any derate. Flaps 5. Liam, this is my own concoction. I actually wrote this for PFPX for myself. I took the Lido format in PFPX, and then I started changing the order and sequence and adding PFPX and things like that. Let me just bring it back up there. So where's my arrow? That whole section regarding performance is something that I've added, and then just changed a couple of things around, but it's PFPX, and I just made it to what I want it to be. Norman, no, because it's in line. It's absolutely in series, so there's no point. If it was, pulling you to one side, I would worry about it, but I don't care. It's not a problem. Thank you so much. Hello, Phil. There was something I was just thinking about now. Oh yes, guys, for everybody that's new on my channel watching for the first time, please make sure to read the notes below the video in Show More in the description. There is a hyperlink to my private hangar. You guys will find everything that I am sharing with public in there. So you will also find this PFPX little file is in there. You can download it, change the name if you want to, because it's called schematics. So you can change it, use it. Everything that I'm sharing is in that link, so feel free to go browse around there and have a look, see what I'm stashing there. Right, so I'm going to just continue quickly with the startup. Liam, I've got a web, what do you call it, a Facebook page. I don't really have the energy for a web page, but I have actually thought about it. We'll think about it some more. But all my rest of my stuff and all my normal posts goes to Facebook on my schematics page.
Nico.
Yes, John.
Johan's asked you a question.
The plan feel independent is a bit confusing. Let me show you guys. Thanks, John. Right, so it doesn't matter whether you do this with PFPX or SimBrief, you're going to find in the Lido format, you're going to find this analysis of the fuel. Right. I haven't marked the other one there. Let's do that final reserve fuel. Alright, okay. Let's start off by saying I'm not spreading an absolute gospel. Okay. If we look at the FMC, if I go back there quickly, index preferences. If we look at the FMC, the 2.1 obviously comes from this line over there. Alright. Your reserves comes from that line over there. Alright. If you put a higher value in reserves, let's say for instance we put 2.5 in reserves, that would include whatever is for the diverted airport reserved. Alright, what's going to happen is the moment you hit the reserves, your master caution is going to come on and tell you that you're using reserve fuel. So I personally would rather see it when I'm really using reserved fuel, but this is why I'm saying I'm not here to spread an absolute gospel. You guys are obviously welcome to use a different value if you want to include your alternate, the 1.4, the the top line there, 1.4. So you can put 2.5 in there. I don't mind. I just don't fly it that way. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So much of a muchness. I think that the more important thing is you need to have the correct block fuel. If you don't have 6.5 block fuel, you're going to come short somewhere if something happens. I think that's the most important part of it, if I can add that 2 cents over there. Kappa, this is still a test version. This is still a release candidate. Excellent, guys. All right. Correct, Johan.
Terrain.
That's the trip, your actual trip.
Obstacle. Obstacle. Pull up. Airspeed low.
Adjust vertical speed. Adjust. Climb. Climb now. Climb. Climb now. Climb. Crossing. Climb. Climb. Crossing. Climb. 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 Clear of conflict. Descend. 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 Crossing. Descend. Descend. Crossing. Descend. Descend. Descend now. Descend. Descend now. Increase climb. Increase climb. Increase descent. Increase descent. Maintain vertical speed. Maintain. Maintain vertical speed. Crossing. Maintain. Monitor vertical speed. TCAS test. Pass.
Just as a reminder, we cannot leave the gate until turn items are properly put away. All overhead bins are closed and all passengers are seated.
On board.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, welcome aboard our flight today. We're wrapping up the final paperwork here to get you on your way momentarily. I want to thank you so much for your company and business. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Again, welcome aboard.
Right, so we said we're going to use a step climb format to get past that altitude problem in the FMC. So we're going to 1.5 first. I'll look at the messages just now. I see it in the corner of my eye. We'll look at that just now. Right. Kappa, I do have a livery that I am sharing with certain people. If you want one, I can talk with you afterwards. But it is a personalized thing that I generally create for people who actually donate to the channel. So, but speak to me afterwards, and then we can talk about it. I don't create it. I actually have somebody who makes it for me, you know, so it's on demand. Liam, it depends on your style of flying. Are you talking GA? Are you talking jets? Are you talking airliners? What you're talking about? I mean, there's quite a few nice to haves on the market. Right, so I think we basically set up now. We can actually call the pushback.
Route to cockpit. Stealth is driving up.
I kind of like the JAR design A320. That's the other aircraft that I fly behind the scenes. I really like the JAR design. It took me forever to figure out how to set it up properly, but now that it's set up, there's not many aircraft that really gives me the same joy and satisfaction than that one, but you're in for a day or two to set it up properly. So if you want something that works out of the box and you don't have to do anything, you know, buy the Tollus. That's an excellent little thing. I will never recommend anybody buy other stuff. So those two are the better ones. Neil, okay, let me quickly run through it with you again. I'll show you quickly.
All doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
The recording will be available later, but let me quickly show you this. I just need to bring up the display quickly. Hello, I'm Danny. Alright. So this is where the video started, Neil. If you look at the route that we fly from Porto to Lisbon, it's very short. In the old Zibos, up until 1.17, this was not an issue. This actually crept in yesterday.
Release parking brake.
Sorry, let the guy just finish his story. So basically, Neil, what happens is we get this error. It says there to us, unable cruise altitude. We can clearly see the Zibo can do 263, but when we put in 230, which is okay, Danny will get to that now. When we put in 230, which is below 263, we still get unable cruise altitude. The one that works is 15,000. So I'm sticking to that, and I'll do a climb. Okay. So one of the things that is happening, I hope I'm allowed to say this. If anybody has a problem with it, please just tell me, then I won't mention stuff like that again. But Zibo is busy upgrading the Zibo. Okay, I'm not allowed to say too much, and I'm careful what I say, but he's busy porting most of the code to C++. Alright, so one of two things has happened here. Either the code has now been enhanced to reflect restrictions in the airways better, and all of a sudden now it's complaining, or it could be a problem with the porting process. I don't know. I'm not going to preach that. Anything is possible. What we're dealing with here today is very simple. We are dealing with flight simmers who like to scream bug, 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 but they don't know how to do the workaround. They don't know how to fix a problem, and in some cases, unfortunately most cases, they are the bugs themselves and they create problems for themselves. Okay, so if you go through our Facebook page, you will see it numerous times. You can go to the Explain 11, the VATSIM pages, everywhere on Facebook. A lot of guys say, when you get this error, ignore it. But you can't. You can't. The Zibo is too well made. It is so close to the real thing that it depends on this value. It literally depends on that value to work out top of climb, top of descent, and all the other values in between. All right. So what we're facing here is this. If you do this and you now turn a blind eye to unable cruise altitude, this is what's going to happen when you get to your cruise altitude. All right, Neil, reading from left to right, I'll make a quick summary. The aircraft is going to show you there that it still thinks you need to climb. Now, you know in your mind and in all your planning that we said we're going to cruise at 230. So the aircraft is there. It's there because the MCP altitude is set to 230. But the aircraft is expecting a climb. It's not satisfied that we are at top of climb. Then if we look at the ND, you can clearly see over there that the profile is showing us that we are 10,000 foot below where the aircraft thinks we should be. So what happens is nowhere on this line will you find a proper top of climb, top of descent indication. Your top of climb will in fact move forward, and probably the top of descent as well. So you're never going to attain your altitude or get there, and the Zibo doesn't know what to do. And if you then go to your preferences page, look at the bottom here, you can clearly see, because of the previous page, unable cruise altitude, the Zibo threw the value away. Alright, so donkey one, basically you're just creating a problem. Alright, and then the guys come to Facebook and they say, oh, we can't descend, the aircraft doesn't descend at top of descent. But it comes back to a simple configuration problem, and this is the gist of it, Neil. It's too late now, Jan. I'm not going to stop the stream for that. We'll grab it later. If it's a code problem and it was addressed, this problem will obviously go away. But guys, we are also talking about a principle. A lot of flight simmers don't know how to make the thing right, how to fix it, how to do the workaround. So this is why we Norman, that's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. But flight simmers were never trained to think that way, it seems. You know, and they just don't know. So it becomes a problem, and then they vent their frustration on Facebook and they say, oh, this thing has got bugs. It's not the Zibo that's the bug. Cool. Thanks, Neil. Thanks for bearing with me there. I know it was a bit long-winded, but that's the story. Right, so we've got, I think we did that. We can actually send ground handling away. Let's get rid of these guys. Yeah, we're going to do the pushback now. Just want to get the people out of the way and then start closing the doors. Right.
Flight attendants prepare for departure, cross-check and all call, thank you.
Angel. Yeah.
Alright, we've got everyone strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Thank you very much. Right, so
Starting pushback. You may start the engine.
Hey, gamer, sorry, I was talking a lot and concentrating somewhere else. Good morning, welcome to the stream. I hope you got my email yesterday. You want to check the forum, he usually puts it on the official forum. I don't know why the readme isn't in there, but it's usually on the forum. Phil, no, it depends on the country that you fly.
Complete. Set parking brake.
The country that you fly will change, or fly in, will change the accents.
Stand by. Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. And signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Of course, Johan. Right, thank you for the pin. Let's do our controller check quickly. Are we ready to go? Buckle up, guys, let's go. Well, the 787 has got a long way to go. If you have the patience for that version of a beta, then obviously enjoy it. It is okay for what it is. I also own the JAR 330. I don't fly it often, but it's a nice aircraft. It's not study level, but it's reasonable enough. You still have to program the FMC, and you still have to, you know, go through most of everything else. So it's good enough. All right, TCAS is on TARA. Can change our lights.
For takeoff, please.
Right, PAX auto,
Cabin cabin is secured.
and
Have a good
everything
flight.
else seems fine.
Approaching 3-5. On runway 3-5.
This wind is working on me, I can feel it. Gear up. Gear up and off, and auto brake off. That's strange, because I just replied on your email. Gamer, wait until after the stream, and then you and I can still talk a little bit, okay? Check your spam box, maybe it went in there as well. Right, so we've gone through 10,000, so some magic should happen, and I hope that it does. It still does not like it. We'll stick to 1.5 for now. Oh my goodness, look at the weather over there. Wow. Glad we're not going that way. Liam, that's good, my friend. That's always good if a developer talks. When a developer doesn't talk, that's a problem. Okay, so I'm going to allow the aircraft to get to 15,000, then we'll try again, and then we'll try work out together what the workaround would be from there. Because in theory, you're literally just supposed to change the value and then execute your climb again. So we'll see now. Okay, the first one is the optimal. That's where the aircraft will perform at its peak. Alright, and the max is the one that you cannot exceed in the current configuration. So let's look at this. Flight level 230. There we go. So now it's taken it, and now we can execute, and now it's complaining again. Right, let's have a look, see. Wait, preferences, go back to preferences, see if it's still ignoring. Okay, this time it has accepted 230, so let's actually execute it. See, if you remember in the picture I showed you previously, it actually discarded the value in this page. It simply threw it away because it was illegal. Alright, at this point in time it's taken it. So what I did was I went to the cruise page, I entered the cruise level, went back to the preferences page, and I double checked and I see it's taken it. So in my mind it should be fine, which means now the first thing we do is we change it on the MCP. The second thing that we do so we don't kill ourselves and our passengers is we need to put the pressurization value correctly. And then what we can do is do an altitude intervention. Alright, so we've pressed the alt intervention, and let's see what it does for us. John, yeah, that's a good call. As it happened, that was what was required. Yeah, you guys are trying to be clever, eh, Johan? It was a good call, but that was all part of the plan. One needs to set that cabin altitude so you don't kill each other, eh? Neil, I don't think so. That's just my opinion. I don't know. You could very well be right. I don't know. These are questions that I need to take to the team and ask them, you know, what would the limits be? What is hindering us from climbing? So I'll ask the guys and then, you know, get more information. But one thing is sure, you've now experienced it with me, that this route that has never complained all of a sudden complains on version 1.17. So something changed, whether it's more realistic or whether it's a bug in the code, that we don't know. We need to find that out. And if it's more realistic, we obviously need the education of how to bypass it. This, what I'm showing you, is obviously a workaround, you know. So At least you can see it works. Exactly, Angel. Exactly. John, yes, the bottom line is this resolves the issue, but there are 20 people on the stream that now have the education. How many thousands of other people don't have this education and who are going to be upset or, you know, just not like what they find when they run into the same situation? How many of them who don't like it actually then will, you know, be able to help themselves? This is the questions that's going through my mind. Gamer, don't worry, we'll talk about it afterwards. I sent you 2 or 3 emails, but we'll talk about it afterwards. Right, so we're at the end of our SID over there, and we can now go to our little map for what it's worth. Well, John, yes, a lot of guys in the flight sim world believe that the aircraft fly on rails. It's actually amazing, but it's true. Yes, you are.
1,000 to go.
And you'll be surprised how many people don't want education. That is what I don't understand. When I sit with the team or when I sit with anybody of my real world pilot buddies, I mean, I absolutely don't stop. You see, we've still got the same problem. So even if the workaround took us up, it's still got the same problem. Damn it. Phil, that's true. The mod is a work in progress. Alright, so let me zoom in here. Let me show you guys. We still have the problem where the actual aircraft, the FMC, does not realize we have reached the top of the climb, and you can see there it's thrown away the value again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back there and I'm going to enter 230 again as another attempt for a workaround. This doesn't want to show me properly. 123, I tried the FL, didn't work, does not work. It's simply not taking it. Ah, look at that. Now I've increased it to the 260. Now it says check the target altitude. So what I'm going to do is go back to 230 and see what that says. Now it's taken 230 and the problem is gone. Yeah, Johan. And it's back. Look, it went away and now it's back. It's like it goes through some calculation and then it says no. Let's go to 250. Check target altitude. Let's try it one more time. Alright, so I'm gonna try and reach that one quickly. It is, John, I agree with you, but this is how we test things, buddy, and this is how we find bugs, and this is how we, you know, sort it out, because if we don't report it now, you know, chances are it's not going to be known. Let's get our heading better.
1,000 to go.
And let's see if it works it out now. I know I'm passing 25. Well, I'm gonna go to 25 now. The Angel, the reason I've changed it is to try and force a calculation. You see there, it throws it out again. It throws it out again. Now the funny thing is, okay, cool gamer. The funny thing is, guys, and this is also part of the head scratching that's going on, is this is the only route that I fly where this has happened. I have not seen it in any other route, and I flew quite a few yesterday. So this is funny. This is something fishy. Totally. If you look at my stream from yesterday, it didn't happen. Well, okay, that was, sorry, that I went back to 1.15, but afterwards, the flights I did without the stream, it didn't happen. It does. It's like it takes it, it executes it, but it doesn't hold on to it. Strange. Guys, in all honesty, look, I haven't flown it. I've just heard about it on my own stream here, that 1.18 is out. Who knows, for all we know, this is something that is fixed already in 1.18. Johan, I flew that yesterday. There was no issue. It worked properly, no problem. 1.18 probably fixes this. So my next stream later on today, if I can manage to make one, if the family will allow me, we'll use 1.18 and we'll fly the same route, and then we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's now changing. It's completely changing again. It's like it is actually working. It's just not displaying properly. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down to, I think it's 3.5. I'll just double check quickly. It is actually 4,000. We did discuss it earlier. No, John, my wife isn't that bad.
She's a gem.
Yeah, she is. Full, wonderful. Yeah, I'd love to fly another stream. I'd love to show if it's been fixed or not. And then obviously we have the video evidence to show the team and say, well, this is what we found. Can you elaborate on that and get some more information? But what is valuable about this stream obviously is thinking outside of the box, trying to not just complain but also trying to resolve it on the fly. The principles are still the same. If you get that error about the cruise altitude, forget it. Just don't even try forcing it. The Zibo will not accept it, and that is how the real aircraft works at all. So that is principle number one. If you get that, you cannot select cancel and forget that it existed, because you will not get the top of descent, you will not get your top of climb. The VNAV will not work. It's going to force you into a user interaction. Alright, so we've actually given a lot of education, right, in the stream, for principle's sake. The execution now from the code side is a question mark, and like I say, this is the only route where I've seen this now, and this is why I chose it to show you guys. Neil, I didn't pick up on it starting when the weather changed. I don't think that's going to have an influence, but who knows? It might. There might be value in what you've just said. I don't know. We'll have to test it. Yes, Juan, we're probably going to have to now use the VS, but we'll see, because we are about in the area where top of descent is supposed to happen. So if that VNAV still picks it up, I'm just going to let it go. Let it run. Lee, the usual thing that causes it, first of all, is the distance of the trip. You are trying to go too high for the length of, you know, the amount of miles that you have to fly. The length is too short. So basically what the aircraft is doing, it's working out your VNAV profile, and it's saying to you, you're not going to make your cruise, you're too high, and that's when it says unable cruise altitude. Weights definitely comes into the equation. If you are fully loaded, you know, it's going to have an influence, but the first and foremost thing is that the route is too short for the altitude that you want to fly at. Now, I know from experience that this route is not, which is why it's an anomaly for me. Angel, 100% true. Neil, that is also a possibility that we discussed last night, that this might be a Navigraph issue. It might be that in the Navigraph code they have a height restriction in this route of 15,000. So depending on what happens next with the next Zibo update, that is going to be the next area that needs to be investigated, because obviously if Navigraph made a mistake, it's not a Zibo mistake, and it's not a user mistake. So, but we'll have to investigate it. You know, that is part of the fun of doing flight tests. You know, you have got to use a process of elimination to try and figure out what went wrong, what works, what doesn't work. Yes, Sean. Thank you, Neil. Enjoy. Thanks for dropping by. It was a pleasure having you here. Alright, okay, we have gone past the area of where VNAV was supposed to kick in. It was supposed to kick in around about here. It's always after this little S turn that it starts. So what I'm going to do is obviously now use my vertical speed and start descending, and then we'll keep our eyes on the green banana. Yes, gamer 1.18 apparently is out. Let me actually go check.
Affirmative, I've downloaded it, Nico.
Let me bring it on the screen here so you guys can actually see, then you don't have to guess. There you go, that's my shared drive from Zibo. So there you go, there it is. Definitely there. Yeah, it's Windows and Mac, Angel. Johan, enjoy. Thanks for stopping by. It was nice having you here. The update is in the same place as always, gamer. It's in the official download page. You just need to follow the links. Let me grab it for you quickly, then I'll post it in the chats. I'm sure, Angel, same. I feel your pain. I hate it when I'm not at my PC either. Alright, so we're descending a little bit too fast, so we can reduce our rate of descent there a little bit. In actual fact, let's go to 1.8. Johan, I'm not going to show that link that you placed because I want the people to save the forum link with the actual official link. Otherwise, that shortcut could be a problem later on. Just for your information. I don't follow you, gamer. What's that? What do you mean? Are you talking about this livery of mine? This one. This was painted for me by a gentleman by the name of Jacques Pinard. It's a gift that he gives me every now and then, so that's where I get that one. Guys, there is a link to Jacques Pinard's page on the forum. This is the guy that creates my liveries. He's got a couple of other liveries on there that you guys might be interested in. Yeah, I forgot I'm not on VNAV. I'm busy reading the comments here and trying to find a nice emoji to put with. Sorry, Angel, you're right. Ah, now we need to use the speed brake.
Get with the program, Nico.
Yeah, John. How's it, Jock? See, this is why it's important in a real aircraft to have two eyes, two sets of eyes and two people there doing the CRM. Yeah, I hear you, John. Yeah, Angel, now I love it too, eh? My house is not very close to the airport here, Johannesburg, but when the guys use the runway 3 configuration and they come from Europe, they have to pass over it here, you know, on their way down, and I'm almost at the very spot where they need to throw those speed brakes, eh? We hear them often. Lee, not really, because of real world family. It's difficult to say, but I'm going to try and make this deal with you. If it's going to happen, it will probably be about 1700 Zulu, approximately 1700 Zulu. But don't hold me to it. That's the only thing. What I want you to do, okay, is if you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. There's a little bell that you click and then you'll see it's going to notify you of when the stream starts. That's the best that I can really do right now. I owe my family sometimes, so I have to give them something. Well, Lee, you are very lucky in that respect. I try and balance as much as I can. In the old days, I didn't respect the balance, and it actually created a bit of a problem between me and the wife. So I had to also learn that lesson and then come back to reality a bit. Angel, I want to tell you something. Being married to the right woman is the best thing in the world. The issues are man-made. If you don't give her enough time, you're going to have a problem. If you don't give yourself enough time, you're also going to have a problem. So the big trick is to find the balance, that's all. Yeah, no, well, I wish you the best of luck, buddy. If you ever get married, just, go for it. Make sure it's the right woman. Gamer, you're lucky. You're very lucky to stay there, my friend. Make sure that bow and arrow is, very finely tuned. When Cupid shoots that arrow, buddy. Right, so this is usually on VNAV where I would start slowing down. So what I'm going to do anyway is actually come down to about 180 now. Yeah, guys like us, we like to watch the aircraft, eh? Right, so I've switched the V-lock on so we can hit that localizer and stay on that, and then once the glide slope becomes active, we'll go for the approach mode. And check that VNAV profile coming into play now. It's coming closer and closer to where it should be. Yeah, I'm not going to do an auto land, guys. I've had enough of those. Man, it was 2 weeks of hell trying to figure out how to auto land properly and what the correct parameters are and what to teach the people. So yeah, we'll do this by hand. Hopefully I can still remember how. Right, speed brakes armed, auto brakes armed. We can almost look at gear down. It's just a way to go 15 nautical miles. Right, approach mode can come on now. Lee, there are a couple of things. When I take off from Dublin, I make an extra waypoint. I add one. Usually during flight, what I would do is I would simply slow down, or otherwise I would vector myself. So those are the three normal options. You know, vector yourself a little bit. I want to pause this quickly. I want to show you guys something. So I was on stream with Cloudybox yesterday, and for those of you that don't know who he is, he's one of the test pilots and developers of the Zibo. So, and he showed me something very interesting. You know, when we say use VREF plus 5, he actually brought my attention to this little bug over here. If you put the bug right on top of your reference there, like you can see on screen now, that is plus 5. So if you look at VREF being 147, there you go, is 5 on top is 152. I said to him yesterday, that's interesting. I've done it so many thousands of times in my life, but I never realized it's just the width of the bug that is actually the 5 knots. So just for your guys' information, that was kind of neat of him to tell me yesterday. Okay, Johan, well, just in time. Yeah, that's very useful. I think so too. I mean, I cannot tell how many thousands of times I've done it. You know, I count the numbers in my mind, if not out loud, you know, get to VREF plus 5. And then he showed it to me and I went, oh, okay. So we had a little change in the pressure there. No, definitely not. I tell you what, I still learn every day. My wife asked me yesterday, when did I start flying the 738? And I started thinking, I reckon it was about 2005, 2006 that I started flying this aircraft. It's a long time, and I look at these real world pilots fly these things and I go, what? I never knew that. I never knew that. Lead's actually easy. Flaps are not that difficult to understand. And now that you mention it, I forgot to put all my flaps out. I'm going to land flaps 30, sorry. You are trained to use a simple system called
1000.
yeah, let me think about it. Let me just land. I'll tell you now. But there's a schedule that the guys are trained on. Obviously, it's theory and you have to adapt to real world situations. But it's like 7531. That's what they call it. So if you're at 7 nautical miles, you need to start putting out flaps. At 5 nautical miles, flaps 15 geared down. 3 nautical miles, you need to be fully configured and then you land. That's about, you know, off the top of my head what the guys talk about, but it's theory. Yeah, 753 or 953 or something. I think it's 753.
400.
400.
200. Approaching minimums. 100. Minimums. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
As usual, sweet.
Thank you so much. Gamer, I did, and I answered you. The video didn't work properly. It stopped at about 10 minutes, or just before 10 minutes. It didn't want to play anymore. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, John. We'll discuss it just now. Let me finish the video and the replays and stuff, and then we can sit and talk about it quickly. Welcome to Lisbon, everybody. And it's okay to clean up. Right, so before we do anything else, let's do a replay.
And 1,000.
Yeah, Liam, I'm impressed. That was a good landing, eh? Wow, very nice, very, very nice.
Sweet.
2,500.
Liam, sorry, okay, my attention span seems to be off here. What don't you know how? Just refresh me there. You lost me. Ah, screenshot time. Oh, well, sometimes you're just lucky. I love standing here, Angel. This is one of my favorite places to watch this landing happen. Eh? Thanks, John. Liam, I see the temperature is 20 degrees. Not that hot. Righto. That was lovely. So even with all the ups and downs and the mishaps, we were still able to compensate and we were still able to do the flight. I hope this has taught you guys a couple of things and added some value to your flight simming, eh? Yeah, England. It's gonna take me many years to acclimatize to that kind of weather. Johan, yeah. Right, well guys, that's about it. I can obviously go taxi and park somewhere. Let's do that. Oh, I'm still in replay mode. Can you believe that? Lee, I seem to recall it's 753. So at 7 nautical miles you need to start putting out the flaps. Why are we not moving? Why are we not moving? Hello? Ah, there we go. So at 7 you start putting them out. At 5 nautical miles you need to have flaps 15 and gear down, and 3 nautical miles you need to be fully configured. That's the theory, my friend. The rest is up to you, because circumstances change. ATC also will bring in changes. You know, you've got to adapt, but that's the theory. Thanks, Gamer. Yep, Angel. I think it's 753. Simulation Gamer, no, it's not going to end. I'm not going to fly again. I still need to speak to Gamerman here. And if there's any Q&As, questions, I'll answer what I'm able to answer. So it all depends on the reason for you asking. If you want to stick around and talk with me, you're more than welcome. Guys, also, I don't know why, but not everybody notices the links in the description below the video. You guys are more than welcome to pop into my Discord server if you want to come and talk with me. The link is there. Just follow it, accept the invite, and come around. You might not get live on air. That's the only thing. I reserve that kind of, but we can chat in one of the other rooms if you want to. Thank you. Nice to have you here, Angel. And I hope you have a wonderful stay for the rest of your weekend, and fly safely home and all the rest. Okay, so bye-bye, Angel. I have absolutely no idea why this happened, but my active camera X camera just died. Weird. Hang on a second. There we go. That's the reason. This thing never closed down. There we go. There's the cameras working again. I forgot about that bug. Johan, not the liveries. The liveries are excluded, and from what I understand, the 738 preferences file that includes your views that are excluded from the copy protection. So you shouldn't have any issues if you add or take away liveries. I will not recommend take away the default Zibo liveries, the AudioBird AXP liveries. Those ones don't touch anything that Zibo makes, that goes in there, that the team Zibo makes. But the liveries as such, you should be able to change. Yeah, that's my limo. I took him out in the previous set that I created, and then I thought, no, hang on a second. They need to bring it back. I want my limo. I missed my driver and I missed my luxury. And well, I mean, it's hard work to fly this plane, so I might as well get the proper limo ride to the hotel. Okay. Well, guys, in terms of the stream, that's it. I'm going to spend time now with Gamer. You guys are welcome to stick around. You're welcome to ask your questions as well. But I would like to quickly show Gamer a couple of things pertaining to a query that he had. And I want to just get some of the stuff on to the screen here. Thank you again for flying with me. Always a pleasure to have you here. Johan, I now understand what you mean. Try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Yeah. Try it. I can't say it's going to work or not work, but try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right, so gamer, what we are looking at here is my airport visual system, and we're looking at my explain folder structure. Alright, and this is what I tried to answer you yesterday. It seems your installation is just wrong. So when I purchased the AVS, it obviously comes in a zip file, and this is what the zip file looks inside. So all we do is we go to resources, plugins, and we extract those two folders. We drop them into our plugin folder. There they are. Right, you don't have to do anything else. There's no configuration, nothing. It's there. Alright, so if we now go to wherever it's located, that's a very good question. Let's see if I can bring it up. What did I do? Did I configure this thing? Keyboard. Control T. Right, so I made a shortcut for myself. Control T. There you go. There's the airport visual system coming up. Are you still with me? So we are at LPPT, and there's our structure. Alright, so what happened was you started talking in your video about this, and I seem to understand that you can't make your actual route. Alright, so one of the things I never saw you do was actually click on airports. If you go to taxiways, alright, this add-on only works for airports with ground routes already in place. If you don't have a ground route, this means nothing. It can't work. Alright, so you have to go to taxiways, and we want to take off now from this runway. So what we're going to do is we're going to map ourselves a little route. What's going to be the easiest that way? Alright, so that's our route. Now we've mapped the route from where we're going to start taxi until we get there. And all we now do is we click on accept. Right, and that's your GPS. So basically you just follow it, and that's how easy it can be. It's not supposed to be rocket science. You select taxiways, map it out, click accept, and then you just do it. One of the things that I picked up in your video was you had a Mac XPL file. So let me bring the other screen back. I have absolutely no idea why you have a mac.xpl file in your resources plugin. That thing is completely in the wrong place. If you are using a Mac, you need to find out where to put it, what it belongs to. So my first bit of advice would be to just delete it, get rid of it. It's out of place. It shouldn't be there. And then secondly, look which of your plugins does not work, and then obviously just reinstall it. Because as you can see, there is no Mac XPL in my system at all. I don't use a Mac, but that's beside the point. It's in the wrong place. Does that help you? By the way, guys, just for your interest sake, I'll quickly grab a link to this airport visual system for you guys. It's a little payware thing by Flight Factor. It kind of works very neatly in the airports with ground routes, you know, if you don't know where to taxi. Thanks, Yoki, my friend. It's nice having you here. It was nice as well. See you next time, eh? Right, so that is where you can buy the airport visual system from. And then you'll have this. Great stuff. Thanks, John. Guys, anything else? Just as a reminder, my private hangar contains the set for this jar design ground handling deluxe as well. Any and everything almost that I use that I can and am able to share with you will be in that private hangar. So just open the description below the video and go and explore that hangar. You'll see a couple of nice things there. John?
Yes, sir.
Are you happy for now?
Totally happy.
Okay, cool. Then I think what I'm going to do... Yeah,
Assume
exactly.
we're off air now.
No, negative. I'm going to say goodbye just now formally again. Guys, cheerio. Enjoy yourselves, and if all goes well, we'll see you later. Remember to ring the bell so you get your notifications. Bye for now.